I want to start with something I think a lot of us are guilty of, even if we don't know there's a name for it. The Chinese actually have a specific term for it. Bavusing aye.
Ah, yes, revenge bedtime procrastination.
That's the one. It's that specific, heavy feeling, you know? You've had zero control over your day, your boss, the kids, the traffic, all the emails, so you just stay up until 2:00 a.m. scrolling.
Right. Just to reclaim a tiny bit of freedom.
Exactly. You're trying to get a sliver of your own time back.
It's a desperate bid for autonomy, really.
Right.
But the price you pay is usually your sanity the next morning.
Oh, absolutely. And that brings us right to the struggle.
Yeah.
We usually try to fix that morning grogginess with force. More caffeine, louder alarms.
Cold showers.
Cold showers, maybe a 5 a.m. run if you're feeling particularly masochistic. We treat the morning like a battle to be won. But the research we're looking at today suggests we're fighting on the wrong battlefield entirely.
We really are. We're doing a deep dive into this framework called the evening bridge.
Yeah.
And the core idea here is going to sound a bit backwards to all the productivity hackers out there.
Okay.
The argument is that a productive, calm morning doesn't start at 6 a.m. It starts at 9 p.m. the night before.
Mornings begin the night before. I have to be honest, when I first read that, my immediate thought was, great, another thing I have to do before bed.
Huh, right.
Is this just a fancy way of telling us to go to sleep earlier?
No, and I'm glad you brought that up because this isn't about sleep duration. It's about biology, specifically the autonomic nervous system.
Okay.
See, most of us, we crash into bed in a sympathetic state. That's fight or flight. We might be physically lying down, but our internal alarm system is still just ringing off the hook.
So we're physically asleep, but chemically our body is still at work.
Precisely. Your cortisol is high. Your heart rate variability is probably low. The source material argues that unless you manually switch your body into a parasympathetic state—
The rest and digest mode.
Exactly. The rest and digest mode. Before you sleep, you aren't actually recovering. You're just pausing.
Wow. That is a terrifying distinction. Pausing, not recovering. It explains why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like you got hit by a truck.
That's it. Because your body spent the whole night on guard duty. So the evening bridge is essentially a manual off switch for that system. It's a way to signal safety so that real restoration can actually happen.
Okay, I'm listening. But before we get into the how, the source makes a pretty big deal about the difference between a routine and a ritual. To me, those words are, they're basically synonyms.
Right.
I brush my teeth every night. That's a routine. Is that not enough?
Functionally, yes.
Yes.
But psychologically, no. The source defines a routine as purely utilitarian. It's functional. You brush your teeth to prevent cavities.
Lock the door to prevent theft.
Exactly. A ritual, however, is about signaling.
Signaling what?
Signaling safety in transition. There's this concept in psychology called anchoring.
Yeah.
A ritual acts as an anchor. It tells your brain, when X happens, we shift into Y mode.
Well, okay.
So if you brush your teeth while you're mentally drafting a clapback email to a coworker, you're just, engaging in hygiene. You aren't shifting your state. You're still in defense mode.
So the difference isn't the action itself, it's the attention you pay to it.
It's the intentionality gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. The source breaks this down into 4 ingredients: presence, meaning, gentle repetition, and emotional awareness.
Okay, I can literally hear the eyes rolling. This is starting to sound a little, ooh, do I need to go buy some sage and crystals to make my morning better?
The source actually anticipates that eye roll. It explicitly says, no crystals required, though you could use them if you want. But it warns that if you make it too performative, it actually backfires. The goal isn't to impress the universe or, Instagram. It's to convince your own brain.
Convince the brain of what?
That the tiger is gone, that the hunt is over. You are convincing a hypervigilant modern brain that it is finally safe to power down. And that requires a very specific set of signals.
Okay, so we're not casting spells, we're hacking the nervous system. I can get on board with that. Let's build this bridge. The source outlines 5 specific elements.
Right, and keep in mind, the whole thing can take just 10 to 30 minutes. It's not some monastic retreat.
Good to know. Step 1 is the soft transition. This happens about an hour before bed. The goal is to slow the input.
This is where we battle the modern world. We are just constantly bombarded with input blue light, information, noise. Step 1 is just about tapering that off.
Which feels nearly impossible. If I'm not checking my email, I'm checking the news or I'm watching a show.
It is difficult. But the source suggests a fascinating hack here that has nothing to do with screens. It leverages something called enclothed cognition.
Enclosed cognition. That sounds very fancy. What does that mean?
It's just the scientific term for the influence that clothes have on our psychological processes. There are studies that show when you wear a doctor's coat, your attention span actually increases.
Huh.
When you wear work clothes, your brain is primed for labor and, well, social defense.
So when I come home and I stay in my jeans or my work shirt until right before bed,
You are signaling to your brain that you are still on duty. The source suggests that part of this soft transition is changing into comfortable clothes, soft pants, if you will, well before you actually get into bed.
so shedding the blazer is literally shedding the worker identity.
Exactly. It's a tactile cue. You are physically removing the armor of the day.
Yeah.
And the source pairs this with dimming the lights. I mean, that's basic biology. Darkness triggers melatonin.
Right.
But combining the lighting change with the clothing change creates a really powerful state shift.
I like that. It's actionable. Put on the sweatpants. I can do that. Okay, step 2. This one seems to be for the people who lay in bed just staring at the ceiling. Release the day.
This is for the ruminators. The people whose brains start playing a highlight reel of every mistake they made since 2004 as soon as their head hits the pillow.
I feel seen.
You and me both. The source suggests a technique that leverages something called cognitive offloading.
Is that just a fancy way of saying write a to-do list?
Sort of, but with a twist. See,
Yeah.
there's a psychological thing called the Zeigarnik effect.
Mm.
Essentially, our brains are wired to remember interrupted or incomplete tasks way better than finished ones. It creates this cognitive tension.
So my brain keeps waking me up at 3 a.m. to remind me about that unreplied to email because it thinks I'm going to forget it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Your brain is trying to be helpful. It's yelling, hey, you didn't finish this, don't let go.
Right.
Cognitive offloading, just writing it down, is the antidote. But the source is specific. Don't just write the task. Write when you will handle it.
Ah, so not just call mom, but call mom tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Exactly. By giving it a time and a place, you are telling your brain it's recorded,
Yeah.
it's scheduled, you can stand down.
The source also offers a verbal option for this, right? For people who hate journaling.
Yes. Simply speaking, the phrase aloud, today is complete, I can rest now.
Today is complete. That feels like a bold statement when I have 40 unread emails.
It is, but it's a boundary. It's accepting that you cannot do more today. It's declaring the end of the shift.
I can see how that would help break the loop. Okay, step 3, ground the body. This seems to move away from the mental stuff entirely.
Yes. Step 2 is mental release. Step 3 is somatic regulation. Somatic just means relating to the body, and the source emphasizes regulating the nervous system through sensation rather than thought.
Because you can't think your way out of stress.
Exactly. You have to feel your way out. The suggestions here are very, very gentle. Light stretching, washing your face with warm water, or just placing a hand on your chest or your stomach.
Let's talk about washing your face, because that just feels like a routine again. How is that grounding?
It's the sensory experience of it. The warm water, the smell of soap, the touch of your hands on your skin. If you focus on those sensations, like really focus, it pulls you out of the hypothetical future and right into the physical present.
So it's mindfulness, but without the pressure of sitting on a cushion for 20 minutes.
Precisely. And the hand on the chest.
Yeah.
That's a primal signal of containment. Think about how we soothe babies. We touch them, we hold them. Placing a hand on your own heart or stomach sends a feedback signal to the brain that says, I am here, I am contained, I am safe.
It sounds so simple, but I guess it's the point. We're so disconnected from our bodies most of the time.
We live in our heads. This step forces us to inhabit our bodies, even if it's just for a minute.
Which leads us perfectly into step 4. Set a morning intention. Now, hold on. When I hear morning intention, my brain immediately goes back to productivity mode. Like, okay, what do I need to crush tomorrow?
And the source stops you right there. It emphasizes heavily. This is not a to-do list.
Thank goodness.
This step is about shifting from pressure to presence. So instead of planning what you must do, you choose a quality you want to embody.
Give me some examples, because I'm so used to thinking in action items.
Think about qualities like calm, patience, focus, gentleness, even courage.
So instead of writing, answer all those emails at 8 a.m., I'm writing, what?
You might just write, tomorrow morning I choose to meet the day with calm, or even just, tomorrow I will be patient.
Does that actually change anything, or is it just, positive thinking?
It changes your filter. It's a psychological concept called priming. If you prime your brain to look for opportunities to be calm, you'll navigate that first chaotic moment when the coffee spills or the kids scream totally differently than if you woke up primed for efficiency.
So you're kind of pre-deciding your reaction.
You're setting the emotional thermostat before the heat gets turned up.
I like that analogy. Okay, finally, step 5, the optional spiritual element. The source lists things like lighting a candle, gratitude, or a visualization.
Right. And optional is the key word here.
I appreciate that because if I have to light a candle every single night, eventually I'm going to run out of matches and get stressed about it.
And then the ritual becomes a source of anxiety, which completely defeats the purpose.
Right.
The source frames this as support, not obligation. It's about connection, whether that's to God, the universe, or just a simple sense of gratitude.
It's interesting. Even from a totally secular perspective, gratitude has a ton of data backing it up.
Oh, huge amounts of data.
Yeah.
Gratitude effectively forces the brain to scan for safety and reward rather than for threats. Ending the day just by thinking of one good thing is, again, a biological signal that things are okay.
So we have our 5 steps: soft transition, release, grounding, intention, and maybe a little spirit. But I want to pause here because I know who listens to this deep dive. We have high achievers, but we also have exhausted parents, people with ADHD, people working 2 jobs.
The real world.
Exactly. A 5-step ritual sounds lovely, but on a Tuesday night when the dishwasher's broken, the baby is screaming, and you're just done. This feels like another to-do list item I'm going to fail at.
And that is the #1 barrier to entry. I don't have the capacity for self-care. And the source actually devotes a whole section to this called adaptability and compassion.
What does that look like in practice?
It advocates for a low-demand approach. The source argues that consistency matters way more than intensity. It explicitly states, if you only do one step, it still counts.
So if I just wash my face with intention and I skip the journaling and the meditation and the soft pants?
That's a win. You have signaled the bridge. In fact, for neurodivergent brains, specifically ADHD or autism, the source warns that some steps, like journaling, can actually be overstimulating.
Oh, interesting, because you're digging up all these emotions right before bed.
Exactly. If writing out your feelings makes you spiral, don't do it. This source suggests replacing words with just breath or touch. Keep the whole thing under 5 minutes.
Use the tools that work, discard the ones that don't.
Precisely. The goal is to feel tended to, not managed.
There's a deeper note in the source, too, about healing. It mentions that for people in recovery, from emotional trauma or even physical recovery, that the rest can actually feel unsafe.
This is a profound insight. If you have lived in the state of high alert or survival mode, maybe due to PTSD or chronic stress, then silence and stillness can feel dangerous.
Like the calm before the storm.
Exactly. The lack of chaos feels like a threat is coming. The body expects it.
So trying to just relax can actually backfire and cause more anxiety.
It can cause a huge spike in anxiety. That's why these small rituals are so important. They aren't just fluffy self-care. They are a form of, well, gentle exposure therapy. By doing the same small things every night, you are teaching your nervous system. See, we dimmed the lights, we washed our face, nothing bad happened, we are safe.
It's retraining the body to accept rest.
It's tending to oneself. The source uses that word very specifically. It says this isn't about fixing your mornings, it's about tending to yourself the night before.
That shift from fixing to tending is really beautiful. It stops treating yourself like a broken machine and more like, well, a human being.
Exactly.
So we've gone through the philosophy, the 5 steps, the adaptability, but I want to circle back to the why. Why does this actually result in a better morning? Is it just because we slept better?
Better sleep quality is definitely part of it, sure. But it goes back to that concept of the bridge. If you just crash into sleep exhausted and anxious, you wake up in a deficit. You wake up with that shock of the new day.
The oh no, here we go again feeling.
Right. But if you use the evening bridge, you have created closure. You've put the previous day to bed properly. The source says this reframes mornings as a continuation, not a shock.
A continuation of the care you showed yourself the night before.
Yes. And that builds trust. Self-trust. When you take those 10 minutes to care for yourself at night, you are proving to yourself that you matter. You are parenting yourself, in a way.
It's an investment. You know, usually when we talk about morning routines, it feels like boot camp.
Ah.
Get up, grind, conquer. This feels so soft, but in a strong way.
It is strength through softness. We so often mistake discipline for the only path to improvement. But the source summarizes this perfectly. It says, a better morning isn't created through discipline or willpower. It's created through care.
Care over discipline. I think a lot of us needed to hear that, especially those of us who beat ourselves up for hitting the snooze button.
And it frames the evening ritual as an act of kindness to your future self.
The future self being the you that wakes up tomorrow morning.
Exactly. I mean, think about how you treat a friend who is staying over. You might leave a glass of water out for them, make sure the guest room is comfortable. This ritual is doing that for you.
You're setting yourself up for success, not by demanding more, but just by clearing the path.
Yes.
It reminds me of that final affirmation in the source. I wrote it down because it really hit me. It says, "You don't have to carry everything. You're allowed to rest. Tomorrow can meet you gently."
Tomorrow can meet you gently. That is such a departure from attack the day.
It really is. It's permission to put the burden down.
And I think that's why this approach is so effective for the burnout and anxiety the source started with. You can't fight anxiety with more pressure. You have to meet it with safety.
So for the listener who is thinking about trying this tonight, where should they start? If they're skeptical or just tired or really busy?
I would say start with a soft transition. Just change your clothes, put on the soft pants. It's the lowest barrier to entry.
The gateway ritual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See how that little shift in enclosed cognition feels? Or maybe just try the release. Just say the words, "Today is complete."
Focus on the feeling, not the performance.
Exactly. Remember, if it feels like a chore, it's not the ritual you need right now. It should feel like an exhale.
An exhale. I like that.
And over time, as you repeat that exhale night after night, your body learns the rhythm. It learns that night is safe. And when night is safe, morning becomes promising again.
It really connects the dots in a way we usually ignore. We treat our days as these separate, isolated blocks of time, but they just flow into each other. The night feeds the morning.
They absolutely do. The quality of your rest dictates the quality of your waking life. You just cannot separate them.
Well, this has definitely changed how I'm going to look at my evening tonight. I might actually put my phone in the other room.
Or at least maybe doom scroll before you change into the soft pants.
Fair point. Put a boundary on it. No doom scrolling in the soft pants. That's my new rule.
I think that's a solid rule.
This has been such a refreshing look at how we operate. It's nice to know that the secret to a better morning isn't always about waking up earlier, but just being kinder to ourselves before we sleep.
It's the powerful message.
We're going to wrap it up there. We've covered the shift from routine to ritual, the science of the nervous system, the 5 steps of the evening bridge, and why kindness really can beat discipline.
It really can.
I want to leave you with a thought to mull over as you go about your day, or more importantly, your evening. We often blame ourselves for struggling in the morning. We call ourselves lazy or unmotivated, but based on what we learned today, I want to ask you this. If your morning mood is actually determined the night before, how much of your current morning struggle is actually just a lack of evening closure?
That's the question.
Think about it, and maybe tonight, try building that bridge. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.